All right, while we're waiting just for another minute, just in case a couple more people are joining us, I'm just going to give a couple tips for our practice today. Some of you might know we're working on planks, so a lot of weight bearing in the body today. So I know for some of us, it's a problem area for our wrists. So I just want to give you guys a couple tips. And certainly if anything's bothering you, feel free to modify, take a break, do what you need to do, always listen to your body. But when we're in a full-on plank, we're in a lot of wrist flexion. So down dog, there's less of an angle, so sometimes it doesn't bother us as much, but when we're holding different variations of plank today, there'll be a lot more of that wrist flexion. So a couple things that help me are using my tiger paws, I call them. So you want to feel like you're clawing the floor with your finger pads, and that wakes up this little spot in the center of your hand. And when that lifts, it helps give more support to your wrist. So pressing through your finger pads is going to help activate the muscles that support your wrist. So I do recommend that one. And you can layer these things on. The next thing you might want to do is roll your mat up a little bit. So I have a blanket here, and you can just like, as if you were rolling up your mat, and then you put the heel of your hand on the roll. So that elevates and takes a little bit of that angle out of your wrist. So that's another thing you can try if your wrists are bothering you. You could also do fists at any point. If you want to give your wrists a break, you could do that. Or you can come down onto your forearms for certain things. So you have some options to help yourself feel better in any of these weight-bearing positions. Take a break if you need to. And we also are going to do a lot of wrist releases at the end. So we're going to start with like some nice core warm-ups, a little bit of shoulder warm-ups. We'll progress through some different plank variations. And we're going to end with a seated meditation today. So make sure you have something that you can sit on for your seated meditation. So we'll master our planks, then we'll master our minds. And let's get going. So I'm going to go ahead and mute everyone unless there's any questions about anything. All right. So feel free to cue up your music if you are using music today. We're going to come on our backs, and you're going to need to have your block within reach. All right, so go ahead and come down onto your backs. And you can either start with your legs out straight or your feet flat, depending on what feels right in your body today. And we're going to grab a block right away, and we're going to use the block as a breathing tool. So what I'd like you to do is place the block in your lower abdomen, right below your navel and between your two hip bones. And we're going to use that as a little bit of resistance. Put your hands right on top of the block, and it'll give it a little bit of weight. And now from here, I'm going to ask you to breathe into the area where the block is. So as you inhale, sense the block kind of lifting up. And as you exhale, you could gently press with your hands and the block comes down. So go ahead and work with that for a few more cycles of breath. This is an important area that we've been talking about probably since we started our series. The lower abdominal region, transverse abdominis, is very important for supporting our lower back. So when this is weak and it kind of pooches forward a bit, we tend to be more anteriorly tilted in our pelvis. And when that happens, if we're trying to do a plank pose, we're probably going to be sagging in our lower back. So strengthening this area here and learning to work with a neutral pelvis is one of the tools we'll explore today to holding our plank. The other tool we're going to explore is going to be shoulder protraction. So when we protract our shoulders, it helps us not sink into our shoulders in plank pose. So we'll work with that next. Go ahead and take 2 more breaths here. Drawing that breath down where the block is. All right. Now from here, we're going to take the block in between your hands on the wide setting and take the block straight up toward the ceiling. Press your hands into the block. And now what we're going to do is try and lift the block and touch the ceiling with it, and you'll feel your shoulder blades pull away from the mat. As you do that, press down into that lower back region to activate your core. And then slowly let the block come back down, let your belly relax. Try that a few times. Press the block up, press your low back down, your back ribs down, feel the activation of your core muscles, and then let the block come back down. One more time like this. Okay, keep the block overhead, but the shoulders are down on the ground now. We're gonna make sure that the back ribs stay pressing into the ground. So when I take the block overhead, which is where we're going next, oftentimes the rib cage will flare and that'll create more curvature in the lower back. So press your back ribs down, you'll feel more core activation, and now start to take the block overhead. And you're only gonna go as far as you can maintain that back rib cage pressing down into the ground. Maybe you'll touch all the way to the ground, maybe not. And then bring it back up. Okay, let's add that into the shoulder protraction. So now lift the block up, feel the shoulder blades pull away from each other, press your body into the ground, and then let the shoulders come down and take the block overhead. Keep pressing those back ribs. So initially here, we're just working really mindfully so we can get these actions down, bring it back up so that we'll remember them later in our bodies. One more time, block touches the ceiling as high as you can, press into the ground, shoulders down, and now take the block and reach it overhead. So we're gonna add more core work into this little series. Bring it back up. And now place the block back down where we started on the lower belly. The block's on the tall setting and your hands are pressing on the block. Extend your legs out straight in front of you if they're bent. We're gonna take an inhale, and as you exhale, lift your shoulders, head, chest off the ground and see if you can use your block to press down and keep the lower belly from popping up. Good, slowly release. And now we're gonna try that with the legs. So keep the pressure on the lower belly there and try to lift your legs off the ground. Reach through those legs. And release. Okay, now we're gonna try and do both. You can always, stick with what's working for you. So we're gonna lift the head, chest, and shoulders, use the block, keep the belly down, and now lift your legs. Ooh, it's hard to talk while I'm doing this. Squeeze your legs together, press your lower back down, and let it go. Okay, now we're gonna try and take the block off in a moment. So we'll progress here. You can always stay with what we're doing here, or you can move forward. Take an inhale, exhale, lift up, legs and upper body. Now take your block and see if you can put it between your hands and reach it forward. Press your hands into the block, press your lower back down. Now you might take that block overhead or all the way behind you. Bring it back up and release. Now if that went into your lower back, you went too far. So remember to keep that low belly down. We're just taking a little break. We're gonna add on a couple more things here. Okay, bring that block back to the lower belly, press it down. Take an inhale, exhale, lift up. Lower body, upper body, or one or the other. You can't do both. Now we're gonna try to flutter the legs a bit. So flutter the legs, a little flutter kick, keep the low belly down. Keep it going, maybe a little faster. Press your lower back.
and release. Take a breath or two. We got one more cycle here, guys. All right, let's go ahead, lift it up again. Press into the block. And now you're gonna crisscross your feet. Keep that lower back pressing down as best you can. Crisscross. Good, and release. Let it go. Nice work. Go ahead, set the block to the side. Take a full body stretch. Inhale, and then exhale, bring your knees into your chest. Give them a good squeeze. And now we're gonna rock and roll on our spine a bit. You might hold behind the backs of your knees. Go ahead and roll forward and back. And if this is too much, you can just do a knee hug. Let's do a few more, just because it's fun. And eventually, see if you could roll up to sit. Okay, and then we'll come into a seated position. Feel free to use something to sit on, blanket, pillow, block. And then you'll make sure you have a block in front of you, okay? All right, so sitting up nice and tall. Widen out your sit bones, get a good base. And then we're gonna grab our block again. Bring the block in front of you, press your hands into the block. And now we're gonna take an inhale and try to reach that block forward. Feel those shoulders protract, and then exhale, pull them back so that you're almost like you're drawing the shoulder blades towards each other. Try that a few times. Block moves forward and block moves back. So we're working on that shoulder protraction. One more time, block forward, block pulls back. Good, take the block overhead now. Bend your elbows, place the block behind the back of your head. And squeeze your elbows towards each other and lift them up. So a little work in the triceps here. Try not to pop your rib cage. Press your head and the block into each other. Good, now inhale, reach the block up. Exhale, slowly bend with resistance. Squeeze those elbows in and then press the head and block into each other. 2 more rounds. Lift up and slowly bring it down. Use resistance. Block and head press. One more time. Reach it up. Good, reach the block up one more time and release it down for a moment. Take your legs out in front of you, finding staff pose, Dandasana. Legs are straight, feet flexed. Root your thighs into the ground and sit up as tall as you can. And whenever we sit up tall, we're trying to make sure we're not popping our rib cage. Keep your rib cage right over your pelvis. And let's take the block again, reach it up. Good, press your thighs down. Try to touch the ceiling with your block. Reach the crown of the head up. And now we're gonna lower the block and place it on the top of our head. Good, now we'll see if we can balance there. Let the arms come down, that's it. Press your block up toward the ceiling. This is really good to practice lengthening the spine in our plank pose. A lot of times we also lose our head alignment. And then let's bring it off. All right, nice work, guys. Okay, let's come into all fours. Pad those knees if you like. Coming into our tabletop position. And then set up with your hands under shoulders, knees under hips, and we'll find those tiger paws if you want to use those for your wrists. So press through your finger pads. And as you press through your finger pads, feel like you're pressing the ground away from you, and you'll feel like your arm bones just grew a little longer. That spot below the navel, tone it. Keep it toned. Take an inhale. Exhale, round your spine into your cat pose. Inhale, arch. See if you can maintain a little tone in that lower abdomen. Exhale, round. And then just go ahead and do a few more cycles just like that, focusing on that lower abdominal strength. Two more cycles. After your second cycle, take a brief child's pose, rest your arms for a bit. Okay, let's make our way back up into our tabletop position. Find your tiger paws, really root into your finger pads. We're going to extend the right leg back behind you. Tone that lower belly region. And then we're going to take the left leg and pivot the shin a bit out to the side. So we're going to come into side plank. So I'm going to bring the top hand onto the hip and pause there. Okay, press through your bottom arm. So you feel like that arm bone grows longer. Take your top shoulder back. And then we're going to find our pelvic tilt. So lift those lower belly muscles, lengthen your tailbone. So you're going to feel like front of the abdomen is lifting, back is lengthening. And then we're going to lift that top leg up. Lift it as high as you can to engage those outer hip muscles. And then top arm can reach up initially. Good. Now, as you inhale, take the top arm, reach it over your head. And then as you exhale, we're going to do a side crunch. We're going to bring the top elbow and the top knee towards each other to touch. Good. Inhale, extend. Exhale, side crunch. And then do that 3 more times. Inhale, extend. Exhale, pull it in. Good. 2 more. Moving mindfully, try not to move quickly with momentum. I want you to build strength. Good, after this next one, go ahead, stretch it out and release down. If you need a brief child's pose, take a brief child's pose. And then we're gonna do our other side. I'm gonna turn around so I don't face away from you. So find your tabletop. Left leg extends behind you. Swing the right shin out to the side, come into side plank, hand on top of the hip. Bottom hand, push it into the ground. Activate the muscles, use your finger pads, and then top leg lifts up. Flex the foot, lift that leg high enough that you engage those outer hips, and then top arm reaches up. Now remember your neutral pelvis, lift the low belly, lengthen the tailbone. Good, inhale, reach the arm overhead. Exhale, side crunch. And then we're gonna repeat that. Inhale, extend, exhale, pull it in. 3 more times. We're moving mindfully, try not to get into momentum. After your 5th round, go ahead and stretch it out 1 more time. And then release. Okay, take it back to another child's pose. Have another moment there, rest the arms. From here, we're sliding forward onto the belly. All the way down, come into Sphinx Posture. Line up your elbows with your shoulders, wrists with your elbows. Take an inhale, lift the chest, and pull your palms towards you isometrically. Get those upper spine muscles to engage. Now keep pressing through your arms, through your wrists, through your finger pads, and pull the chest forward. 1 more breath here. And then we're going to release, press back to table, and then downward facing dog. So come into your first dog here. And you can pedal it out, move it around, take a couple moments. Okay, on your next inhale, let's come into our first full plank pose, top of a push-up. Claw the floor with those finger pads. Find your pelvic tilt adjustment. So we're lengthening the lower back. And then imagine the block on the crown of your head. Press the crown of the head forward and your heels back. Protract the shoulders by pushing into both arms. One more breath. Take it back, downward facing dog. Widen your feet as wide as your mat. Walk your hands back towards your feet and fold forward over your legs. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up. And exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Okay. Couple of sun salutations now. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale to your halfway lift. Plant your hands, step back to your plank pose, top of a push-up. Good, lower down slowly. Inhale through your cobra when you are ready. And downward facing dog. Good, hold your dog here for another breath. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, step or lightly jump, top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Good, let's do one more cycle. Inhale, arms reach. I'm just watching you guys. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale to your halfway lift. Plant your hands, step back, plank pose. Watch your form, go ahead, lower down. We're gonna hold a little bit more later, but right now we just wanna flow a bit. Inhale through your cobra, exhale, downward facing dog. Good, big inhale, and as you exhale, step or lightly jump, top of the mat. Inhale halfway, exhale, fold forward, draw the low belly in as you fold, and then inhale, let's rise up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Okay, we're gonna work a little balance here. Finding good posture is an important part of holding our plank pose. So we're gonna stand on right leg, come onto the ball of the left foot, find your pelvic tilt, front of the pelvis lifts, back of the pelvis lengthens, and let's see if we can bring our knee up. And if you can, clasp your hands around your knee. If you need to, you can hold on to a wall here. Okay, hold that. Lift the low belly, lengthen the tail, and root through the standing leg. Try to get your shoulders back. And remember the block on the top of your head, press the crown of the head up. Good, release. Let's try the other side. So standing on left leg, come onto the ball of the right foot, find your pelvic tilt, and then see if we can lift that leg up. Hold it there. Again, reaffirm low belly lifting, tailbone lengthening, and root into that standing leg as if you're pressing the ground away, shoulders back. Good, and release. All right, we're gonna try it again with the block. So grab a block again. I'm gonna grab one of my lighter ones because my cork ones are quite heavy. And we're gonna see if we can lift our leg with the block on our head. So we're just gonna have fun with it. If the block falls, it falls. It'll probably fall on me. But let's see if we can stand in mountain pose with the block on our head. Find your good posture. Now you're gonna need to move slowly so your block doesn't fall. Now you wish your cameras were off, right? Stand on your right leg, bring your left heel up. And see if you can bring that knee in towards your chest, keeping the block on your head. Standing leg roots down, tailbone lengthens. Shoulders back. Good, maybe if you want to go farther, you can extend that leg out in front of you. Good, bring it back in and set it down. You guys are doing great. Okay, let's try the other side. Stand on your left leg. You're lifting the low belly, lengthening the tail, and we're gonna see if we can bring that knee up and hold it with your hands if that's available. Really root your standing leg down, tailbone down. Option to extend that leg out in front of you. Very good, and release. Look at that power of concentration you guys have. Take your block off and come back to standing mountain pose, top of the mat. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forward over your legs. Inhale, halfway lift, step back, plank pose, top of a push-up. Okay, from your plank, move back to dog. Claw the floor with those finger pads, engage your arm muscles. Feel like your arm bones wrap around a bit to help protect your shoulders. So it's like a little spinning of your inner elbow forward. From here, walk your feet in as far as you can, and then walk your feet back out. Let's do that a few times. We're using kind of the same muscles that we were just using to pull the knees into the chest. So walk forward and walk back. One more time. Good, come back to plank. You have options to drop knees at any time. Go ahead, lower down. Inhale through your cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Big inhale here. Exhale, step or lightly jump, top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise up. Tailbone draws down as the arms reach up. Try not to flare your ribs. And then release, arms down at your side. So we're going to keep going with some different plank variations, and we're going to start to build a sequence. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward over your legs. Inhale to your halfway lift, step it back, plank pose, top of a push-up. Hold your plank, you can always bring knees down. So I'm gonna get my hair on my face here. Okay, so make sure you're not sagging in the hips, not sagging in your shoulders. Push the ground away, find your pelvic tilt. Now we're gonna do step out. Step your right foot out to the right. Bring it back in. Left foot out to the left. Bring it back in. Try that a couple times. You can always bring knees down if you need a break. And if you want to power this up, do it like a jump. Jump out, jump in. Jump out, jump in. Only if you want a little extra challenge. It's challenging enough just stepping out. Good. And when you're ready, lower down. Inhale, cobra pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good, big inhale in your dog. Exhale, step or lightly jump, top of the mat. Inhale to your halfway lift. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Okay, we're gonna start building a sequence, and we're gonna add in some side planks. So we already did a modified side plank when we did those side crunches, but this is gonna be a little bit different. So I wanna demonstrate for you guys. So we're gonna be coming into We're gonna come into a lunge. I'm gonna do I'm just gonna go through really quick. And then we're gonna step that back, come down and come into our Sphinx with the chest. And then, oh, I did that wrong. Sorry, okay, lunge, we're gonna do lunge and then we're coming into side plank first. Okay, so from your lunge, hands are on the ground and we're gonna lift the back knee and come into modified side plank. So this is version 1, where the front foot is in front, back leg is straight, and I want the hips to lift up and I'm pushing the ground away. Okay, that's gonna be version 1. We're gonna do 3 rounds. Version 2, now we stick with version 1. From your lunge, back foot lifts, you're gonna bring the foot back and the feet are gonna be in front of each other. Sorry, my hair's in my way today. So you're gonna reach up like this. Version 3, the feet are gonna be stacked, okay? So I'll talk you through when we get there. Let's come into mountain pose, starting from the top. All right, hope you guys got that. Inhale, reach your arms up. The Sphinx is gonna come after the plank. Fold forward over your legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Step back, plank pose. Lower all the way down. Inhale, cobra pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, inhale your right leg straight up behind you. We're gonna step through into that lunge. Let's bring the back knee down initially. Inhale, circle the arms up. Good, exhale, hands down. Lift your back knee, and we're coming into that first version of side plank. Left palm down, bring the right foot over to the side, pivot onto the pinky edge of your back foot, and reach the top arm up. Good, now press into the ground, try to get your hips to lift. Try to touch the ceiling with that top hand. One more breath. Press especially through the thumb and index finger, and then release. Coming into plank pose, step that foot back, lower down. Okay, come into your Sphinx from here. We're gonna add on a couple different versions here in our Sphinx, starting with a cat-cow. So inhale, pull your chest forward. Exhale, push your palms forward, round your back. Peel a little bit of the navel and the hips off the ground. And then continue. Inhale forward, pull with your hands. Exhale, round, push with your hands. Do that 2 more cycles. One more round. Good, landing back in your Sphinx posture. Go ahead, lower down, slide your hands back, press up and back, downward facing dog. Okay, we're gonna do that on the other side, and then we're gonna vary it each round. Inhale, left leg up. Step through to the lunge, back knee down initially. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Good, exhale, hands down, preparing for that side plank. So I'm gonna flip around to the other side. Okay, so you're coming onto the pinky edge of the back leg. Lift your hips, push into the ground, top arm reaches up, that's it. So really press through those finger pads, get those hips nice and high, reach the top arm up. Last breath. Release, hand down, step back, plank pose. Lower all the way down into your Sphinx. Couple rounds, cat-cow. Inhale, pull with your hands, heart forward. Exhale, push and round. Couple more times. Good, and then go ahead, release, press it back, downward facing dog. All right, big inhale here. Exhale, step or lightly jump, top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, hands to your heart. Good, inhale, arms reach. Exhale, right knee into the chest. Pretend you're balancing that block on your head. Inhale, arms reach, foot down. Exhale, other side. Good, inhale, arms reach. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Step back, plank pose. Okay, hold your plank, push through your palms. This time, knee into the chest. And release. Other knee into the chest and release. You can stay going slow stepping, or you can jog it out like a little mountain climber. Fast or slow, your choice. And then press it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg up. Step through to your lunge, back knee down. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, hands down, side plank version 2 or stick with version 1. Back knee lifts, step the top foot in front of the back foot so you can stagger your feet a little easier. Push through your palms, lift the top arm. Press through your finger pads, another breath. And release. Coming into plank pose, lower down, Sphinx. All right, hold it here, version 2. This time, a little bit more core. We're gonna inhale, heart forward. Exhale, come into the round. This time, you're gonna keep peeling until you're just on the tops of your knees. Tuck your tailbone down and then pull your arms towards you. Good, release. Back to Sphinx, inhale forward. Exhale, start to peel back. Round your spine, keep going till you're on your knees. Tuck your tailbone under. Pull your palms towards your hips. And release. You've got one more round. Good, and then release. Slide your hands back, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg up. Step through to your lunge. Back knee down. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands down, side plank, other side. Either sticking with the foot down version or staggering those feet for version 2, okay? Press strongly into that supporting hand. Try to touch the ceiling with the top arm. When you reach that top arm up, it'll help take some of the compression out of your wrist. Good, release down, come back to your Sphinx. Lower down. 3 rounds, version 2 of your Sphinx. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale, round. Keep going till you're on your knees. Tailbone tucks. Pull your arm bones towards you. Activate those core muscles. 2 more cycles on your own. Make sure you get that little tailbone tuck at the end. It really activates those lower abdominals. Last round. Good, downward facing dog when you are ready. Good, big inhale in your dog. Exhale, step or jump, top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, let's reach the arms all the way out and up. Exhale, hands to your heart. So a little break before we do that final version. Just get a little wrist stretch here. Step your feet apart a little bit. Find your neutral pelvis, belly lifts, tailbone lengthens, and reach the arms up. Hold on to your right wrist. We're going to take a side bend here. So maintaining the belly lifting, tailbone lengthening will help the back in this side bend. And then inhale, come up, switch sides. Lengthen up first and then side bend. It gives a nice stretch here into that shoulder area that we've been working pretty hard. Inhale, come up. Same thing, first side. Side bend. Now stay there. Make sure you have that belly lifting, tailbone lengthening, and then we're going to do some little dips here. Roll your right shoulder a bit toward the floor. Maybe look down towards your foot, and then come back up to neutral. 2 more like that. Gets a little bit more into those shoulders, back muscles. 1 more time. Good, and then switch out, other side. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, side bend first, neutralize the pelvis, and then 3 little dips. One more time. Good, inhale, back up to center, step it back in, fold forward over your legs. Good, inhale to your halfway lift. You can make your way through vinyasa or go right to dog. And we're going to do that last version here of the lunge sequence. Okay, so we'll meet in dog and we'll start on that right side. Inhale, right leg up. Step it through, come down into your lunge, back knee drops. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, hands down, your version of side plank. Full version now is stacking the legs and feet on top of each other. If you want to modify, you can put your foot down, you can stagger your feet, push it in that bottom hand, reach up tall. If anyone wants to go a little farther here, reach the arm overhead, try that side plank. Woo, the side core. So if you want to, do that. If not, skip it. And when we're ready, releasing, lowering down. Come back to Sphinx. We're almost done, guys, and we got some good releases coming. Take a couple breaths in your Sphinx. So from here, we're going to add on a full Dolphin Plank. So I'm going to ask you to clasp your hands. Tuck that bottom pinky in. And we're going to press through the arm bones. Now we'll tuck the toes. You can come to your knees, first version. Tuck your tailbone down, lift that low belly. Or full on, lift the knees, come into your full Dolphin Plank. And we're pushing through the arms. Reach through your heels, reach through the crown of your head. Try not to sag. 1 more breath. And release. Come down, take a little breath. Give those hips a little wiggle. And then let's do side 2. So make your way into downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg up. Step through, coming into your lunge. Back knee down, inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands down, back knee lifts. Your version, Vashisthasana, side plank. So final version, your feet and legs could stack if that's available, and then push your hips up, reach the top arm up, claw the floor, all the things we've been learning, neutral pelvis. Maybe adding on that side crunch, reach your top arm and pull the elbow and the knee together. Up to you if you want to add that or skip it. When you've had enough, come back, lower down. Almost there, guys. One more round, Dolphin Plank. Clasp your hands, tuck that pinky in. You can stay on your knees, or you can come into a full Dolphin Plank, root through your arm bones, neutral pelvis. Press the crown of the head forward. And when you're ready, come all the way down, rest for a bit. Take about 2 or 3 breaths on your belly there. You're now officially a Plankmaster. So now we gotta do a little releasing and then we'll do the Mind Master. Take yourself back to a child's pose when you're ready. Couple of breaths there. Okay, let's make our way up into tabletop position. A couple of wrist releases here. First one, turn your hands out. So fingertips point toward the sides of your mat. Claw the floor, press down, and just try to pull your arm bones apart a little bit. If that's feeling okay, we're going to turn the palms all the way around. Just be light here onto the wrists. Claw with the finger pads. And you might do a little like rocking, a little circling. Stretch out those wrists. Good, now we're going to change it up. Peel the hands up. You're going to turn your fingers in towards your knees and put a little bit of weight on the top of your hands. How much weight is up to you here? So we're taking those wrists in the opposite direction. All right, go ahead, release that, and let's come into a seated posture. Feel free to sit up on a prop if you need to, especially if you tend to round your back here. Widen out the sit bones, sit up tall. Let's bring the hands out in front of us. Make a stop sign with your hands, and then rotate right to left. That's it. Good, now index fingers, we're gonna draw a figure 8 with our index fingers, like you're conducting, yeah. Take those wrists in some different directions. Now imagine the middle finger is doing the leading the way. Just kind of changes the feeling a little bit. Yeah. Good, take the arms straight up toward the ceiling, circle the wrists around. Go the other direction. Good, now shake. Shake the hands really good. This decompresses the joints, then shake from your elbows, then shake from your shoulders, get the whole arm involved, decompress. That's it. Good, and then release, take a moment. Inhale, roll the shoulders up by the ears and slowly let them come down. 2 more like that. Inhale, squeeze up and to the back. 1 more. And then reverse it, go the other way, circling forward, squeeze up and release down. One more here. Good, and then release. Let's stretch the legs out in front of us. Flex the feet. Widen out your sit bones. Now, forward folding is challenging on your body. Do make sure you're sitting, first of all, up on a prop, but you might also want to put a roll blanket under your knees. So let me show that. It takes a little bit of the strain out of the lower back and the hamstrings. So that's an option. Keep the sit bones wide. So we're going to take a forward fold to release the back body. Inhale, reach the arms up. Root your thighs down like we did in the beginning. Press the crown of the head up like you're pressing your block up. Reach as tall as you can. And then start to hinge forward from your hip creases. Bring your hands wherever they land. Pause there. Next inhale, pull back on your ankles, shins, or feet and lift the chest. Find a little bit of a back bend, a little bit of a cobra. And then exhale, soften, let the head come down. We're going to do 2 more rounds like that. Inhale, lift up, arching the spine. Spine moves in. And then exhale, soften, round. One more time. And now we're going to stay here for a minute or so. Let your head release. Stretch out that back body. Soft breath in your belly. Anyone with stuff going on in lower spine, maybe not a good idea to fold so deeply. You could stay more upright. Staying, just let everything go. Send some breath into your back body. Let the shoulders soften. Last 3 breaths here. Take your time after your 3rd breath. Very slowly coming up. Use your hands to kind of pad up your legs. You don't want to pull on your back muscles. We'll come back up to vertical and pause. Okay, we're going to come back to cross legs. If you want, you can switch the crossing from how you started. Widen out your sit bones again. Sit up tall. Bring your hands to the ground beside you. Lengthen up tall. Inhale, right arm up by the ear. Try to touch the ceiling, really lengthen, and then we're going to start to walk the fingers out, come into a side bend. So similar to what we did standing. And then you're going to scoop your pinky finger forward, find a little spiral through your arm. Take an inhale, reach longer, maybe start to bend the left elbow, stretching out the side body. And we're going to add those shoulder dips in. Inhale, reach and lengthen. Exhale, turn the chest down a bit. 2 more like that. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale, rotate. Keep the arm reaching and lengthening. 1 more time. Kind of spiral through that pinky finger. And then we're going to slowly come back up. Pause in the center. Take a breath. Good. Left arm up by the ear. Try to touch the ceiling, get nice and long, and then start to walk it out into your side bend. Keep the opposite sit bone heavy. And then find that spiral by rotating your pinky finger a little bit in towards your body. Inhale, reach long. Maybe you can drop that elbow a bit. And then we're gonna add the dip. So inhale, lengthen. Exhale, turn the chest down a bit. And repeat. Inhale, open up. Exhale. One more time. Good. Inhale, coming up. And release. Take a pause. Interlace your hands behind your back. Try to pull the palms apart so you have a loose fist there. Elbows have a slight bend. Broaden the collarbones. Bring those shoulder blades now towards each other. We did a lot of protracting. Now retract. Squeeze like there's a little something in between your shoulder blades. You want to squeeze it there. One more breath. Good, now option to come forward into a forward fold or stay where you were. Tuck your chin in, lengthen the back of your neck. Keep lifting the shoulder heads. And then next inhale, we're rising up. Release, shake it out, maybe a big arm circle. And then let's change the legs one more time and repeat that. Widen out your sit bones. See if you can clasp opposite thumb on the top and then pull apart. So you're gonna open and broaden the chest here. Good, squeeze those shoulder blades back. One more breath, vertical. And then we have the option to come forward. So if you're coming forward, don't stick your chin out and kink your neck. Bring the chin in, lengthen the neck. Good, inhale, coming up, release, shake it out. Maybe one more big arm circle. And then we're gonna come onto our backs in a moment, but I wanna show you guys something before you do, okay? So stay there. We're gonna do a little somatic releasing for the shoulders in our last few minutes here. So the first version, you might have done this before. You can have, let's have feet flat. We're gonna take the right hand to the chest and we're gonna slide it all the way across. And we're gonna keep going till those fingers go past the bottom hand. And then we're gonna sweep that arm up and around and come back to the start, okay? So it's hand across the chest, slide, 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 and then come overhead. Okay, that's version one. We're gonna do that with both arms. Then we're gonna add a leg spiral. So the legs are gonna be straight out, arms out to a T. We're gonna pick the leg up, cross it over, and then that arm is gonna sweep around. And it stretches the back of the shoulder, it stretches in here through the chest muscles, and we'll come back, okay? So let's come down, I'll talk you through it. Let's start with our feet flat for the first version with the shoulders. Good, so take your arms out to a T. And we're gonna start to take that right palm, bring it to the chest. And now slide it across your palm. Keep going until the top palm passes the bottom palm and reach. Then take those fingers overhead, sweep in a big circle and come back to the start. Let's do that 2 more rounds on this side. Right hand comes across. We kind of press into the flesh too. We're sliding the hand across the flesh and then arm reaches up and overhead, back to the start. One more time like that. Pause in the center. We're going to do 3 times now on the other side. So now left hand comes to the chest. Sweep it across. Keep going till you come into the twist. And then that arm circles overhead. Open it up. Back to where you started. So 2 more now like that. One more round. Okay, we're back to the start. Take a pause. Slide your legs out long. So now we're going to initiate a spiral from the leg. Pick your right leg up, cross it over the left leg. Keep going till you start to twist. And then that right arm is going to sweep over your head until you roll all the way over towards your left side. And then start from the arms, wing it back, and then the leg comes back to where you started. Good, 2 more like that. Lift the leg, cross it over, spiral the chest, and return. One more time on this side. Leg crosses, start the twist, and then the arm will follow. It's almost like gravity is doing most of the work here. Take it back to start. Okay, let's do that on the other side. Left leg lifts, crosses over, and eventually the arm follows. Good, 2 more like that. One more time. All right, back to the center. Let's take a full body stretch. Arms and legs reach out. A little up slip, down slip. Right arm, right leg reaches long. Left arm, left leg reaching long. So alternate side to side. Let's just lengthen everything back out. Okay, go ahead, release. Let's bring the knees back into the chest. Maybe some circles on your lower back. Other direction. Okay, we're going to take the arms and legs straight up toward the ceiling for one of my favorite things to do, Seaweed Pose. I want you to make your wrists really loose, elbows loose. And let's just start circling the wrists really slow like you're underwater. And then let's take arms, legs, everything in a circle in one direction. So the knees are soft, elbows soft, wrists soft. So we're just decompressing the joints after all that weight bearing. It's like you're floating. And then go the other way with your circle. Make sure everything feels really loose, like you're underwater plant. And now, rather than a circle, make everything random. So just circle legs, arms, any which way, floating in water. Okay, hug those knees back in. If your practice is not complete without happy baby, you could take one. I don't think we need it after all that, but if you like one and you want to do one, feel free. And then finding your Shavasana when you are ready. So you're going to grab any props that'll help you feel comfortable. I'm going to be coming up and guiding you. So take any moment to add any layers, any props to help you feel comfortable. It might feel good to have something under your knees because of all the lower back stuff that we did. So taking your time to get settled in. Today we're going to have a story in Shavasana to prepare us for our meditation. So take your time finding stillness. I'll give you guys a couple more moments. I still see some of you adding your layers. It's good to be nice and cozy and warm in your Shavasana. So this is a little story from a book I've been sharing from called The Wakeful Body. And it's a story of when the author went to visit a temple in Tibet. And when she visited this temple, she saw a mural on the entranceway that she was very curious about. So she asked the temple keeper, the tour guide, to give her an explanation of this mural that she saw. So in this mural, there was a picture of a monkey and an elephant traveling uphill on a winding path. And it seemed to be telling a story. The temple keeper explained that the mural depicted the developmental process of meditation. The elephant, he explained, symbolized dullness, heaviness, almost like tamas that we call it, just this like heavy quality. And the monkey symbolized distraction, more of a rajasic energy. Excuse me. At the beginning of the path, the meditator's mind is controlled by the monkey and the elephant, by heaviness, dullness, and distraction, with distraction being mostly in charge. At the bottom of the mural, the monkey was indeed leading the elephant by a rope. But by the end of the path, the monkey has fallen by the wayside, and a monk has joined them and is riding the elephant, who has turned white, symbolizing that both the dullness and the distraction are tamed. The monk, the temple keeper explained, is mindfulness. Indeed, the mural showed the monk gradually disciplining the elephant and the monkey with his stick. And in the final scene, at the very top, the path becomes a rainbow, upon which a white elephant strolls toward the heavens, and the monk sitting in meditation posture on the elephant's back. This is a compelling depiction of the role of mindfulness on the path to tranquility. When we first start to meditate, the mind is all over the place, like a wild monkey, bouncing from one thought or idea to another. Or sometimes the mind is sleepy and lethargic, like the slowness of the elephant. It lacks the sharpness needed to pay attention in a sustained way. Neither of these is conducive to concentration, clarity, or ease. To tame our distracted, scattered attention, we turn it inward toward an object like the breath. At first, the mind will not stay very long. It bounces, distracted by a thought or idea, or sinks into that dullness and forgets what it was doing. But then we coax the mind back again and again, over and over. And this is what we use to bring the mind back to its mindfulness, the monk with its stick. Every time the monk with the stick shows up, the muscle of attention is strengthened a little bit, reminding us to stay on task and pay attention to our breath. And as the tension stays on the object longer and longer, the mind's restlessness begins to calm down, resulting in a state of tranquility. So taking a couple more moments now, staying in Shavasana. Hopefully the mind is a little more quiet. Simply allow yourself to be in this state. Rest, ease, and tranquility. All right, we're going to take our time now, starting to come back to awareness. I want you to move slow motion to reawaken. Very small movements at first. Letting them evolve into a bigger stretch before coming over onto your side. Make sure you pause there for a few breaths. Well, come on up to sit when you are ready, finding your seated meditation posture of your choosing. Maybe widen out the sit bones, root down through the ground, allow the crown of the head to float up again like you have that imaginary block. Once you find stillness, starting that breath into the low belly. And either the eyes could close or stay softly focused. And just noticing if the elephant is in control, there's a heavy quality. Maybe the monkey is leading the way, there's distraction, or both. Or maybe you've already conquered them and you're in the monk's posture on top of the elephant. Have that anchor of your awareness by focusing on your breath. Let your attention really drop out of the head more into the body itself. Maybe feeling the solidity of the ground beneath you, that flow of the breath, strength of the back. And just returning again and again to those anchor points in the body and in the breath. Taming the mind. All right, so our time is running out. You can always stay longer if you wish to. But we'll formally close in a moment. Let's go ahead, and if you're ready to bring hands to heart. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, bowing your head down. Thank you for joining me today. Namaste.